People often feel the urge to be alone suddenly, even when they enjoy the company around them. It's not laziness, moodiness, or a flaw in character. It's actually your brain doing something very intelligent, something most people never notice. Your mind is wired to balance input and restore energy. Social interactions, even enjoyable ones, demand constant processing of emotions, facial expressions, tones of voice, and subtle social cues. For some people, after hours or even minutes, that constant processing starts to pile up. The brain signals, often subtly at first, "I need a break." That signal can feel like an emotional pull, a sudden desire to step away, even from people they genuinely care about. This response is completely unconscious. You might think, "I just feel like leaving," but the underlying mechanism is protective. Your nervous system recognizes that social engagement is draining energy, and it triggers the instinct to recharge. Interestingly, this is not uniform across everyone. Some people are highly extroverted and can interact for hours without noticing the drain. Others are naturally more introspective, their minds constantly running simulations of social interactions, anticipating reactions and adjusting behavior in real time. For them, even small conversations can slowly deplete energy, and the brain pushes them toward solitude before they even consciously realize it. It's easy to misinterpret this instinct as rejection or emotional distance. You might feel guilty stepping away, thinking others will misread your need for space. But in reality, the urge to isolate is a protective and adaptive mechanism, not a commentary on your relationships. The more you understand that your brain is simply recalibrating its emotional energy, the more comfortably you can honor that need without unnecessary guilt. People who ignore these signals often end up exhausted, irritable, or emotionally distant, which paradoxically can harm the relationships they care about. Even when you're alone, your brain isn't just resting. Solitude provides a unique environment for processing emotions and thoughts. Without the constant input from others, your mind can sift through the interactions of the day, consolidate memories, and resolve small social ambiguities. This is why many people report feeling relieved, lighter, or more centered after brief periods of intentional isolation. Your brain is essentially recalibrating the emotional equilibrium, allowing you to re-enter social environments later with a clearer, more composed state of mind. Interestingly, this behavior is tightly linked to personality, early environment, and learned coping mechanisms. People raised in environments with inconsistent social support often develop heightened sensitivity to social energy. Their brain becomes hyper-aware of emotional cues and quickly signals when it's time to step back. Others may have naturally reflective temperaments, enjoying the stimulation of social interaction, but also needing structured downtime to integrate experiences. The key takeaway is that the desire for solitude is rarely random. It's a signal from your brain about emotional capacity and well-being. Many people feel conflicted when they act on this instinct. They worry that stepping away will be interpreted as coldness or detachment. In fact, healthy isolation does not mean disconnection. Those who understand their own needs communicate boundaries, often simply excusing themselves for a moment without drama. Recognizing and respecting this internal cue strengthens self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and even social relationships, because people who are in tune with their own energy are more present and attentive when they engage with others. This phenomenon is amplified in today's highly connected world. Constant notifications, social media interactions, and the expectation of perpetual availability increase the cognitive load on the brain. Even minor interactions can feel heavier than they should. The moment you consciously notice your need for space, you are already practicing self-regulation, something most people do unconsciously only when stress peaks. Awareness gives you control, allowing you to step back intentionally rather than being pushed into isolation by exhaustion. There is also a subtle psychological benefit to being alone intentionally. When you create brief periods of solitude, your mind can process complex emotions, reflect on relationships, and plan decisions. This processing happens faster and more efficiently without external distractions. Your brain can also reduce unnecessary worry about others' opinions, allowing for a more grounded sense of self. For some people, these short periods alone can be as rejuvenating as sleep because they target mental energy rather than physical rest alone. Understanding this behavior also explains why some people seem socially distant at times. They aren't disinterested or cold. Their brain simply prioritizes emotional maintenance over constant interaction. The disconnect is not personal. It's biological. And ironically, respecting this need for solitude often improves social engagement in the long run. By understanding the science behind it, you can stop mislabeling the instinct as selfishness. The moment you step back intentionally, you are practicing advanced self-awareness, which many people never achieve. It's not avoidance, it's mental housekeeping. Finally, it's important to notice patterns in your social energy. Pay attention to when you start feeling drained, irritated, or mentally restless during interactions. This is your brain signaling the limit of your emotional bandwidth. Acting on it doesn't weaken relationships. It strengthens them. Because when you return, you are fully present, emotionally available, and able to contribute meaningfully to interactions instead of just going through the motions. If you recognize this pattern in yourself, take a moment to appreciate that your brain is looking out for you. This awareness is the first step toward mastering your own social energy, emotional balance, and personal boundaries. When you understand these subtle signals, you stop feeling guilty for stepping back. Start noticing your own limits and realize that occasional solitude is not just normal, it's essential. If you found yourself nodding along, noticing patterns you never understood before, subscribe to the channel. We break down the unconscious behaviors that quietly shape how people feel, react, and live every day, things most people never question about themselves. Learning these patterns is the key to understanding yourself and others at a deeper level.